Okay, so now I can go and put a few little dabs of that light mix in there. It's really how much detail you feel like you want to get in those mums. I think I like that. Now I'm going to go and add a little bit of detail up here and some highlights to that. So I'm going to get some of the cad yellow light and some of that white, and there's some real kind of bright highlights there. And get a few of those petals in there too, you know? Just the tips, just here and there. You don't have to do a lot to give your imagination the fact that, you know, there's mums there. You don't need to get into a whole lot of detail. Especially in the where it's a little bit, you know, you've got the dark edge there. I'll put, let me get something a little darker. I'll put a little detail there. Not too much though. So I mix up something a little warmer, some orange and cad yellow light and a little tiny bit of green because, and I'll just put a few dabs of yellowy green in there. Just want to make sure on those edges that you get that feeling that there's some flowers connecting to flowers without a whole lot of paint. And then, like I said earlier, we're going to put in some of those stems, but I want to kind of take, you know, make one flower that kind of, you know, connects these bushes of flowers. So I'll put kind of one in between here. And then down here, you know, I'll do the same, just kind of something to kind of connect them a little. But I still want to keep those separate green sections. So I'm going to go in with some sap green and some, you can mix something like some of this cad yellow light and white in there, and maybe a little cobalt blue to kind of cool off the green a little. And I'll just put a few stem shapes in there. You see that they really pop out on the dark. And you can put in some leaf shapes. And you can cut in some of that into your little bush of mums. I'm just going to work some of that up into here too. And there's a few yellow mums that cruised over this way too, so I want to take that green and definitely want to have one flailing over that way. Just adds to the drama. And I'm going to put some of those stems bending down that way. And I have this nice little group. I don't want to paint over that, so I'll leave that. But I'll maybe put a stem coming out here, you know, to show that it's, you know, coming over. I don't want to. I would have painted over that, but I really want to leave that because I like that flower, so I'll just leave it. But I wasn't thinking. And then I'll take a little yellow, and I'm just gonna pop in that, you know, those ones that were kind of flailing over that way. So there you go. You have a few going that way, and now I'm gonna get some a little more cobalt blue in the mix and some sap and white. and of course some cad yellow light. And I'm gonna connect some of these stems to these flowers that I have going down there. And I like the way, you know, it gives it that feeling. And you can put a few little stem marks in here. And a few, just a little bit of green in there too. And I'll get some darker, some sap, and I'll put in a few leaves in here. And just kind of put in some of those, you know, those green leaves kind of will help the composition here. And you can put a few here. Okay, so now I need to get some of these fall leaves in here. And I think they'll really accent nice with these, all these colors we've got going in here. So I'm gonna go to a thicker brush and go back to this number 8. And I'm just gonna get some red in there and that alizarin crimson. And want to put a few, so when I make my leaf stroke, it's just gonna be, you know, kind of a shape that I see kind of in the picture. I'm not going to make it too detailed. I'm just going to put some of these reds in that I see in there. There's some kind of, you can just put them wherever you feel. And then there's some little bright red highlights on the, you know, where they churn up. And you don't want them to be too exact or anything. I'm just kind of getting some, you know, color down that's, it just looks good in the composition as well. So I'm going to just add a little, make a kind of these nice light browny colored leaves. I'm going to put in some of those different colors, and then I'm going to go add some highlight to those. And there's little bits of leaves all over, you know, around the pumpkin, so you can soften off some of those edges. And then there's some grass right near the pumpkin that I really want to get in there, so I'm going to get some of that sap green, and I'm going to kind of get some dark, and I dulled it down with some of that red, so some sap green, and there's probably some cad yellow light in there. And I'm just going to go and pull up some of that green using the edge of my brush, and I'm just going to, I want to work some of that in around the bottom of the pumpkin.